Rastafari is more than a movement. It's a way of life, a spiritual path, and a cultural revolution. But in today's fast-changing world, where digital technology rules, economies shift, and people's priorities evolve, has Rastafari maintained its influence? That's the burning question. Once seen as a beacon of Black liberation and African identity, Rastafari emerged in Jamaica in the 1930s as a response to colonial oppression and the struggle for self-determination. It was a movement rooted in resistance, unity, and the vision of a better future, one that reconnected people of African descent to their roots and empowered them to reclaim their identity. But what about today? Are the core principles of Rastafari still as powerful in an age where social activism takes place online rather than in the streets, where spiritual journeys are shaped by influencers rather than elders, and where the struggles of the past have transformed into new battles for economic and cultural survival? Is Rastafari still a force for change, or has it become just another cultural relic of the past? These are the questions we will explore. Let's take a journey through the origins, impact, challenges, and future of Rastafari in the 21st century. To understand where we are today, we must go back to where it all began. The Rastafari movement was heavily influenced by the teachings of Marcus Garvey, a Jamaican leader who preached self-reliance, Black consciousness, and African unity. His vision of repatriation, the return of African descendants to their ancestral homeland, was the foundation of what would become one of the most powerful spiritual and cultural awakenings in modern history. The coronation of Haile Selassie I in 1930 was seen as the fulfillment of Garvey's prophecy. Rastafarians identified him as the messianic figure, the living embodiment of divine kingship, and a symbol of Black empowerment. From this moment, Rastafari became more than a belief system. It became a movement of resistance against Babylon, the metaphorical term for the oppressive systems of Western colonialism, materialism, and corruption. The early Rastafarians rejected Western ideals and embraced a natural way of life. They let their hair grow into dreadlocks, symbolizing their covenant with Jah and their defiance against the colonial system. They developed the Atoll diet, rejecting processed foods in favor of natural sustenance. They looked toward Ethiopia as their spiritual home, seeing it as Zion, the land of liberation. But as decades passed, Rastafari was no longer just a movement for those in Jamaica. It spread across the world, influencing global consciousness, inspiring social revolutions, and shaping entire generations. The movement found its voice through reggae music, philosophy, and its radical call for change. Yet, as times have changed, has this foundational purpose evolved? Has the revolutionary spirit of Rastafari adapted to meet today's global struggles, or is it fading into history? One of the most undeniable ways Rastafari made its mark on the world is through reggae music. The movement may have started as a spiritual and cultural awakening in Jamaica, but its influence spread far beyond the island. When reggae emerged, it carried Rastafari's message of unity, consciousness, and resistance to every corner of the globe. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Burning Spear, and countless others became ambassadors of the movement, using their music to awaken the masses. Marley's songs weren't just music, they were revolutionary anthems. They spoke of oppression, faith, and liberation, making Rastafari accessible to people who had never heard of Haile Selassie or Marcus Garvey. Through reggae, Rastafari became a global movement, touching hearts in Africa, the Americas, Europe, and beyond. Beyond music, the principles of Rastafari influenced global discussions on Black identity, social justice, and Pan-Africanism. The call for repatriation resonated with African diaspora communities seeking to reconnect with their roots. The Ital diet found alignment with the rising health-conscious movements worldwide. The philosophy of living in harmony with nature became part of environmentalist discussions. But the world has changed. Reggae's dominance has declined in mainstream music, and new cultural movements have taken the spotlight. The rise of hip-hop, Afrobeat, and digital culture has shifted the way messages of resistance and consciousness are spread. So where does Rastafari fit into this new landscape? Is its influence still strong, or is it being overshadowed by newer movements? As much as Rastafari has shaped the world, the movement now faces challenges that threaten its survival. Babylon has evolved, no longer just a symbol of colonial oppression. Today's Babylon is a digital empire, a world where materialism is more seductive than ever, and where social activism has become commodified. One of the greatest struggles is the declining number of people fully embracing the Rastafarian way of life. In earlier decades, the movement was deeply intertwined with the struggle for liberation and self-identity. Today, fewer people are choosing to follow Rastafari's strict spiritual and lifestyle commitments. Dreadlocks and red, gold, and green colors may still be popular, but the deeper philosophy is often misunderstood or ignored. Reggae music, once a powerful tool for spreading Rastafari's message, has been commercialized. Conscious lyrics are no longer the mainstream. Instead, many artists have shifted to more marketable themes. The revolutionary voices that once carried Rastafari's teachings are becoming harder to find. Social media and digital distractions have also played a role. Younger generations are influenced by online trends, fast content, and global pop culture. The deep reasoning and meditation that Rastafari encourages struggle to compete with the fast-paced, entertainment-driven world. Does this mean Rastafari is losing its power, or is it simply waiting for a new generation to revive its message? For Rastafari to remain relevant, it must evolve without losing its essence. The movement has always been about resistance and adaptation. The fight against oppression may look different today, but the principles remain the same: unity, spiritual awareness, and a rejection of Babylon's destructive influence. Technology doesn't have to be the enemy. Instead, it can be a tool. The same digital platforms that have distracted many can also be used to spread the teachings of Rastafari to a new generation. Conscious reggae artists, social activists, and spiritual leaders must embrace new methods to share the wisdom of Haile Selassie, Marcus Garvey, and the Rasta elders. The philosophy of natural living, self-reliance, and African unity is more relevant than ever. Climate change, economic struggles, and social inequality are modern challenges that align perfectly with Rastafari's teachings. The movement must reframe its message to connect with these global issues. Rastafari is not just a relic of the past, it is a living philosophy that can still inspire and guide in today's world. But its survival depends on those who believe in its principles. If you feel connected to the messages of unity, self-reliance, and justice, take action. Engage in discussions, support conscious artists, embrace natural living, and spread the teachings of Rastafari in your own way. The movement is only as strong as those who carry its message forward. So, what do you think? Is Rastafari still relevant? Let's keep the reasoning going.